old guy in Colorado. Doodah. And hello everybody, old guy is back. And I have to say hello to Mrs. Old Guy because if I don't, she can kill me dead. So today I'm going to make Mrs. Old Guy and I some blueberry turnovers. And I thought, well, might as well come back in and readdress that for you with the Puff Pastry, because there's really no reason that you have to go buy it. You can make it at home. It's really not that difficult, so I thought I'd go through it another time. I did it once before when I made the cream horns, but I thought I'd run through the Puff Pastry one more time and maybe take my time, a little more time with it. So this is okay. Come on over here. So I got a couple of quarter cup of butter here, and I'm just going to plop that in. And I've got warm tap water. As hot as it'll come out of the sink, so or out of the tap. I guess I don't get it out of the sink. And I've got 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. I have tried using bread flour, and it really didn't make that much of a difference. So all-purpose is going to work just fine. And 1 1/4 teaspoons of regular salt. Okay, and now I'm just going to get this mixed into a ball. So you don't really need to see that part, and you don't need to hear this because the mixer's a little loud. So we'll be back when I get this into the ball. Alright. So this is done. Come on over here, Mrs. Old Guy. Let's get a closer look at this. This dough is nice. I gotta quit saying nice and this and nice and that. It's a very soft dough. And it's gonna be a little bit sticky, but you see that it's super soft, but it doesn't stick to your hands, right? If it sticks to your hands, add just a little bit of flour, add a little bit back. Right? Really super soft. See that? It's really soft. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up, and I'm going to let it sit for about 30 minutes. An hour wouldn't hurt, so but between 30 minutes and an hour, and I'll be back. Okay, so now we're going to start what I like to call the cut, wrap, and roll with butter. Come on in, Mrs. Old Guy. Just got your regular unsalted butter, and what I'm going to do is cut these down. Show you what I did. See here what I did with that one. That's where I got the 4 tablespoons to put in the dough. Get this thing opened up. Come on. Doesn't want to cooperate. Alright. So this doesn't have to be exact, but I'll just kind of mark what looks about half. And then I'll cut it into quarters. So now you could do it with butter that's been softened a little bit, like let the stick sit out for a little while. But I like to do it when it's still a little cold. Okay, and then I'm going to take slices, a half a stick. Now it's a 1/4 stick, and I'm going to use that 1/4 stick in there. Set this aside for a minute. And I forgot to grab plastic wrap. Okay, that's fine. So now we're going to get this wrapped up, and I'm going to flatten it out a little bit. The box on these things just never seem to work very good. I should have already, huh, Mrs. Old Guy?
Yeah.
Oh, that made a mess. Mrs. Old Guy, can you use one of your hands and help me? Oh, look what I did, folks. Fix it. That'll work. Okay, so now put this butter here in the center. We're just going to try and get this to form one kind of like little thin block of butter. So I'm just going to take this again. Hear my wine bottles clinking over there. Stop clinking. Making too much noise. Okay, see how it's kind of off center a little bit? It's easy enough just to, if you're worried about it, just kind of pat it back in. Okay, put it over a little bit on this side. Okay, I'm going to stick it back in the fridge and let it chill for a little while longer. This has still got a few minutes yet to set. So when we're ready to put the two together, I'll come back. Okay, well, if you've been following in your book, it's time to turn the page. Okay, so this next part here, really the two things that are going to mess you up are heat and too much flour. We do need a little bit though, so just, you can see I just lightly sprinkled that. This has been sitting for about 40 minutes. Oh yeah, come on, let's go ahead and look at that. See the difference when I pull that? See how it doesn't break apart, it just stays nice and silky smooth. Okay. And so we're gonna want to get this into a rectangle, twice as long and just a little bit wider than my butter. So let's kind of roll it out and hand stretch it. It's hard to come out with a perfect rectangle. Always ends up kind of oval, but it's okay. And it doesn't really matter if one end's a little bit thicker or something. It's not going to hurt it. Okay, now let's just take a look here. Not quite, so a little bit more. This is something that, you know, if you take the time to do it, it's real satisfying, you know, especially when people try what you make and they go, wow, you made that. It's like, yeah, I made that. And puff pastry is one of those things. It never fails to impress, and it's not that difficult. It just takes a little time. All right, so pretty good there. I'm going to go like this. Just flop that over. Okay, and I'll take that excess on the sides. I'm going to fold it in. That. All right, now just another little bit of flour. The first part is rolling this out. You don't want to roll. You want to just kind of push down. And I'm using my fingers underneath, so it can't go too far down. You just kind of push it out. Like that. Okay. This will help spread that butter, and then you can give it just a gentle roll across the top. A little bit more. Okay. I'm going to fold this into thirds. I'm going to do it again this way. So I'm going to Well, here, well, let's just do it. My doggies are barking to go out. That's too bad. They can wait a minute. Okay, see how that's... Okay. So I'm going to do this another time, just like I did. And I'm going to wrap it up, and I'm going to put it in the fridge. So we'll be back when I'm ready to do that. Okay, thirds, I'm going to put this, wrap it in plastic. I'm just going to use a grocery bag. Works really good. I'm going to put this in the fridge, give it 30 minutes to chill again, and we'll be back. Okie dokie, so while the pastry itself is resting in the refrigerator, I'm going to get the blueberry filling started. Mrs. Old Guy, come on in. Got a cup of water. Got a cup of frozen blueberries. If you got fresh, like from your local market, use those. And a cup of sugar. And some meat. I'm just going to let that kind of do its thing for about 20 minutes at medium heat. I'm going to get it to boil. Then I'll turn it down to a nice simmer, and we'll simmer that for like 20 minutes or so. And when we get to that part, or when we get to that point, I'll be back. Okay, so this is kind of reduced down a little bit. The berries are cooked. I'm going to add a teaspoon of lemon juice. Give that a little stir. And here I've got about a quarter cup of water and a couple of tablespoons of cornstarch. And we'll get this thickened up. Okay, now if it doesn't look like it's getting thick right away, that's okay. For some reason, this doesn't thicken quite like it normally does, like if you're thickening the gravy or something. It doesn't seem like it's getting thick, but then as soon as it cools down, it really starts going for it. So my suggestion is play with it a little bit. It may be, if it looks like it's too soft after it's cooled down, I'll show you this. If it's too soft, get it warm and add a little more cornstarch. The last thing you're going to want is runny filling for your turnovers. So, okay. Anyway, we're going to finish up on this. We're going to let it cool now and see if it thickened up. If it didn't, I'll add some more. So, we'll be back. Okay, so it's been another half hour. And I'm just going to kind of stretch that out a little bit. Okay, same thing on this time around. We're going to want to stick it and just like last time, you're going to want to just push it out. Give it a roll. Not too hard. Okay. A little bit this way. Okay. Now I've done this, and I've had the butter not necessarily spread out, break into a bunch of little tiny pieces. That's okay. If it does that to you, your butter was a little cold when you started. In fact, it feels like maybe that's what's happened on this one, and that's okay. Really, it turns out just fine. So, don't let that alarm you. Okay, so we got it rolled out again. Now we're going to fold it in thirds. Okay. I've had this work in varying degrees. more flour you add, the less puffy it gets, the worse it is. That's trial and error. So, alright, fold this up. Back into the fridge for another 30 minutes. We'll be back. Alright, so it's had a chance to cool for a little while, and I can see that it's about syrup thick. And that's not going to do, I can tell by the time it's completely cold. This needs to be pretty much like, I want to say jelly almost. You want it pretty thick, so at least pie filling thickness by the time it's cool. So I'm just going to add a little more cornstarch, and we'll try it again. So no sense in watching that, but I did want to tell you that. So we'll be back. Right, back out of the fridge, and one more time. Every time you do this, it creates layers. And that's where you get your puff pastry. Right, it's from those layers. A bit wider. Okay. Again. There's a piece of that grocery bag on there. Alright, and I'm going to do it again. Now you don't have to do it that way if you want to turn it like this and do it. You know, it's good. Okay, fold that into thirds again. All right, one last time into the refrigerator for 30 minutes. So that's it. We're ready to roll this thing out for the most part. I'm going to go ahead and do it just like I have this here. Roll this out. I'm going to fold it in half. That'll be the last time it's folded. It. Okay, now I'm going to make a sheet that's, oh, geez, maybe about 1/8 of an inch thick or so. So I'm going to lightly dust it just with flour, just so my rolling pin don't stick. And once I get that rolled out to 1/8 inch thick, however wide, however, whatever, we'll be back. Okay, so I've got this roughly 16 inches square, and that's just what it kind of turned out to be. That'll give you a good guide to go by. That's roughly that 1/8 inch thick. So I'm going to use my trusty ruler here, and I'm going to cut these out 4-inch squares. Okay, so I'm going to get these cut and ready to go, and then we'll be back. Alright, so you can see we ended up with 16 relatively square pieces, and I'm going to grab the filling, and we'll start making these turnovers. So I'll be back in just a second. Alright, we're ready to make some turnovers. Like, here's the blueberry filling. I'm going to put a spoonful. Don't want to overfill them. I got some egg wash here, just a beat up egg. I really beat it up. It made me mad. So, okay. So, along a couple edges, fold that over. Triangle shape there. Parchment paper if you have it. Not 100% necessary. Okay. So, I'm going to get these all done just like that. I'll be back. Okay, so there they are, all made up. There's 16 of them there, and it makes a nice little batch. Some of these I'm going to freeze. I'm going to make 4 of them, cook 4 of them for Mrs. Old Guy and I tonight, and the remainder, I'll put in the freezer, just like this. Let them get frozen, and then I'll put them into a zipper bag or freezer bag of some sort. And then when we want them, we'll just pull them out of the freezer. And these are going to bake at 400 degrees. So when that time comes, we'll get there. We'll be back. The time is at hand. We get to put them in the oven, 400 degrees. And I'm going to set this timer for 15 minutes. Make sure it's going. It may vary with your oven. I'd start with 13 minutes and just take a look. It might be a little longer, so let's say 13 to 18 minutes. It kind of depends on your oven. But we'll be back when we pull them out and see if they actually puffed up. Okay, so it's time. And we're going to pull these out of the oven. I had to give these a couple extra minutes. I think they're in there like 18. You can see they puffed up real nice. Come on in. Take a look at that. That's really, really looking good. Okay, so you want a little frosting or whatever there to put on the top. So I got some powdered sugar, a little bit of milk. Just gonna mix that around. I can bake these all day long. Sometimes I do. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to get these frosted up and onto a plate, and we'll be back. And there you have it. Look at those layers. See that? Alright. Wait a minute. Here, let's... Look at that. Just perfect. Alright, so let's try light. I'm sure at some point, just because I can doesn't mean I should, but in the meantime, I'm going to make these pastries all I can. Go. Don't be afraid to try to make puff pastry. It's not difficult. If you ever have any questions, I've got an email in the link down below. All you gotta do is email me your questions and I'll see what I can do to answer. In the meantime, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time. Take care.